Morning, everybody, and welcome to our October Community Board meeting. Welcome to those that are joining us online. First of all, we've got apologies, and I've received an apology from Neil Evans, who's in Auckland and unable to attend. But I haven't really been a seconder for that.
Happy to move.
Thank you. Public forum, there's nobody in the public forum. We just have guests that are listening in today. Any items that are not on the agenda that wish to be discussed? Nothing. Yeah. Conflicts of interest?
I have one that's with respect to item 2.1. I'm on the committee of Harbour Care.
No, I'm also 2.1 in conflict of interest.
It's not turned up.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Minutes of the last meeting. Have you all taken that you've read these minutes of the previous meeting?
Yep. I'm happy to move.
So moved by Terry, seconded by Dennis. All in favour, say aye.
Aye.
Carried. Request for discretionary fund the Whangamatā Harbour Care and also the Summer Festival.
Okay, so except the report has been read, is there any discussion?
I have no dispute in relation to the Harbour Care, but I have some concerns in relation to the Summer Festival. They have applied for $3,057 for associated costs, and when looking at the balance sheet for the cost, etc., I see that some of the costs in relation to the bands, $8,700.
So are we going to do, should we get rid of the Harbour Care first and then go to the other one?
Okay, all right, that's fine. So in relation to the Harbour Care application, which was for 2,160, any comment on that? Okay. So you approve in agreement for the Harbour Care one?
Or somebody on to move it, yeah.
What is all part of the same?
Yes.
Yeah, I've just got a quick comment. Yeah, I support it. Absolutely. We've got a couple of other groups also going to come forward. So I think in line with what they're saying, I support their application. Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, I agree with the proposal.
Okay. So we move on to the Summer Festival one.
And now Mark's back in again, it's conflict over.
No, it's for the whole item.
Well, that's why I split them up.
That's what I thought you were doing.
Yeah. But that's now dealt with.
Well, the conflict of interest is for the item 2.1, which is the whole item.
Well, technically, he spelled it out, it was for the Harbour Care.
Clarification from Larry.
You can't, you only conflicted on the matter you're conflicted on. You can't be on something else which you have nothing to do with. I would put standing arrest and what we do.
Gary's right. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. So Mark,
So Mark can come back.
Okay.
all right. Just in relation to the costings that are set up, $8,700 for music on there, and also further down bands and entertainment, $12,267, and also a coordinator's payment of $8,000, and volunteers graduates of $4,200. And then it shows sundry events, 2,470. It just concerns me that there appears to be some overcharging in relation to that, and that concerns me. I mean, our money is so limited at the moment. with what we have to pay out. I have concerns about that. Anybody else got any comment on that?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I didn't pick up those points, so well done. Thank you for that. They also, I think they apply through other agencies as well for funds for this. So
That's correct. Yeah.
okay.
It shows on page 24
Right.
where the funding's coming.
But I support what you did, and my other concern would be around donations of 2,500. So they're asking for a grant from the community board to go towards potentially donations of 2,500, and that should only be made. They should only make donations if they're available out of their own funding.
Any other comments?
Well, have you got any intentions of what quantum he would agree to?
Well, considering what we have to pay on other items, I think that this year we should leave.
Pay nothing.
Yes.
No, I support that.
I'll move that way.
I move that no payment be made by the community board for this year for the Southern Festival.
I'll second that.
All in favour?
Aye.
I'll abstain.
Carried.
This is through the chair. Can we get a mover and a seconder, please, for the Whangamatā harbour care?
Yes.
Hey, I'm happy to move the harbour care.
Oh, you can't do it.
No. No, you can't do harbour care.
Bob,
All in favour?
yeah, all in favour? say aye.
Yeah, aye.
Carried. Thank you. 4.1 is the lease for the Poetry Hall. Good morning, John. I understand you're online for this one. Have you any comment that you wish to make?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and board members. No, this is about you. Board will recall that the hall management has had some checkered history, and the board and council gave them a year to really get their act together, sort themselves out. And as you can see from all the attachments to this report, you know, the board's taken a very professional approach to how it runs its affairs and management, and you know, I think they're going to do as good a job as we could reasonably expect anybody to do. So the report recommends that we do grant them a lease, Mr. Chairman, and obviously over time we'll see how they go.
And I think that's fair comment. When you read through it, I think they've done some very good activities since over this last year, and I think it should be supported. So basically, the resolution is that they be given one term of 5 years with a right of renewal of another 5 years for their lease. So the recommendations is receive the new lease of Oak Poetry dated the 8th of September, and then it recommends the council that it approves the new lease for Oak Poetry Hall United Incorporated for the management of the Oak Poetry Hall located at 1 Oak Poetry Road, being section 27, block 7, Kairua Survey District. All in favour of that?
A good discussion.
You want discussion? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, John, Terry here. Yeah, it looks you've done a good job with these people here. The land that's around the building, are they just the lease for the building, or do they look after the land as well?
No, it's just the building, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you for that. Yeah, yeah, no.
Can I say just a comment on that? I think they've done an amazing job out there from what they've turned into to what it looks like now. And if you can read it in their books, they went out and got a lot of external funding, worked really hard, and they've got to there. I think that it should be commended on that. They've done an amazing job.
Yeah, absolutely. So have I got a move and a second, please, for the resolution?
I'll move it.
I can see it.
All in favour, say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Yeah, thank you, John. Next item is it's 5.1 And good morning, Dean. I understand you're going to speak on behalf of the Catholic program.
Yeah, just thank you, Mr. Chair. So I've been asked to speak, but also I've brought Georgia along because she's got the detail that Bruce would have had in front of her. So we'll take the report.
Lost your body, Dean.
Well, you've muted yourself.
Sorry about that. So just thank you, Mr. Chair. So I've been asked to speak to this, and I've also asked Georgia to come along. Georgia will have the information that Bruce would have had in front of him. So we're happy to take any questions on the report.
Thank you. Good morning, Georgia. Welcome to the meeting.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning, Board.
Any comment in relation to the CAPEX program? Just one question I had in relation to the car park ceiling. I understood that this was on hold, but it shows that 96,207 budget. Is that correct? Is it on hold?
Oh, apologies. I didn't catch that. If the screen froze on me. Sorry, Mr. Chairman. Could you repeat that?
The car park resealing that is shown,
Yep.
Resealing of the reserve car parks, is that going to go ahead or is it on hold? It shows
Yes,
the green status.
Yes, so at this stage, I believe it's still going ahead. I think they plan to begin the works at the end of the year. Well, in November, we're already at the end of the year, aren't we? Almost. So I believe November, December is when they were looking to kick that project off. But I'm happy to come back and confirm just that is still the case from my last update.
Thank you. Sure.
Yeah, just a quick question around the car park ceiling can you confirm that includes the one around the Blackies Surf Club area, Williamson Park?
The car park resales that I believe they're listed on the work program on the areas that they are looking at targeting this year, which doesn't include Blackies. At the moment, it's around the TCDC offices and the information centre, so that car park kind of behind the council building there.
Right, thank you.
So do you say it doesn't include the Blackies one?
Not that I'm aware of, but again, I'm happy to check that that isn't included in the scope. At this stage, I've been advised that it isn't, so but I can come back to you on that.
Thank you. Any other discussion in relation to the CAPEX? Any questions for Council?
As we're down on the stormwater improvement, is that still on target to construction commence February 2024?
It is at this stage, and they've slightly revised the scope just because there was some other areas that came up as high priority in the modelling. But yes, at this stage it is. It's still within schedule.
At the meeting the other day, Brett said that basically this was third on the line. The priority was Williamson Park, and then the main pipeline, the work to be done at Williamson Park itself.
Yeah.
And Williamson Park Road pipeline, and then this would follow after that. So it's third on line.
Yep.
Any other discussion in relation to the CAPEX program? Dean, have you got anything you wish to add?
No, other than just thanking Georgia for stepping in for that. We will send an email just to be really clear on those items that we've just taken down. And if you've got any other questions, then file them through to Eileen and myself, and we can follow up on them.
Appreciate that. Thank you. So have I got a mover and a seconder for the CAPEX?
I'll say.
Moved and seconded, all in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against the opinion? Carried.
While he's still there, I sent Eileen and community board members this green growth that's developed on the pond in Williamson Park, which has not been seen before. And you had a suggestion where it might have come from.
No, I just thought, I just thought it's probably an indication of quite a lot of nutrients in the water. it may be left from upstream somewhere, so fertilizers or whatever like that, but water's got to go on the stagnant.
Yeah, well, just to point through the chair is that all the water falls on the road except for one which comes out of the golf course.
I didn't want to blame them.
So a little bit of fertilizer might be there.
Yeah.
But it's, I'll try and send you the photograph of, or Helen, you can send your one off that I sent to you.
I haven't seen it, sorry. Did you send it by email?
You send it as a text.
Oh, okay, sorry, I haven't seen the text.
Okay, I'll send it on to you then, just, it's the screen, it doesn't, growth, doesn't look, no, gross is the word that is right, Dennis. At the start, it's not. Health issue.
It might be edible.
Yeah.
Might be edible.
But we can follow up on that. It'll either be with the water services team, or it may be something to talk to regional council about if we're concerned, if it's an algae. But those things are well known between the water services and the regional council teams.
Thank you for that. So item 6.1 is the action schedule. And there are 4 matters on there, of which they all show, or 1 is in progress and 3 show is closed. Is there any comment on the action schedule?
I'm a bit disappointed to see that the Whangamatā Brenton extension walkway, which is urgently required around some storm damage, is being stopped for some reason. I don't know why, but it looks like here it's been closed and staff advised unable, and the project will need to be considered in the next long-term plan. So that money's sat on there for the last 3 years, and yeah, pretty disappointed to see that when I saw the agenda.
Dean, do you want any discussion on the Martin Road dump station in relation to confirmation of that site? I understood there was.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So there was a report being drafted for the TIF funding to come to this meeting, but the report wasn't quite ready. Now, firstly, the Chief Executive has the delegation to be able to accept the TIF funding, so that will take place. The report that will come to you next month around Martin Road will do 2 things. The original decision that sort of came through the board was for the dump station to be located at Beach Road. So we'll just now be clear that it's to be at Lindsay Road. And the second thing is that in doing the application to TIF, we have been fully funded for that site, but council's contribution would be the resource consent fees. And so we're just currently at the moment working out what those resource consent fees would be and what the options would be for covering those resource consent fees. So it may be something that we come and ask the board to consider their discretionary budget for, but we first just need to analyse that. And so that's the reason why the report's not in front of you now, because we just needed to work those 2 items out.
Okay. Just on that, so the way you explain that is the TIF funding will be 100% of it. Are you asking that you'd want the community board to pay for a consent for a council asset?
So the report that we did to TIF said that the council, so TIF won't fund consenting fees.
Yeah.
So with all of the applications that were made for TIF, council will need to find the commensurate funding to do all of the consents that are required. So we may not ask the community board, but that's one of the options, is to look at the discretionary budget in the community board. We just need to work out how to treat each of those TIF applications. It's not just the Martin Road site. There's a number of them, including all the toilets.
It would be a regional thing if you were asking community boards, you'd be going to all of them for all TIF funding, not just That would be across the board for all of the jobs around? It's a
So
fund.
it depends. If it's a locally funded activity, then it will be a request to each of those boards for each of the either the public convenience or whatever are in their wards. But we're trying to work through that now, so that in November we come with a a nice tidy row of reports for each board to consider.
What would be your estimate cost to do a consent process for that?
So yeah, top end would be around 12,000. Bottom end would be around 5,000 if it's a very simple application to process. So yeah, somewhere in that range, but we just don't have that information to be firm on that yet now.
Yeah, and would it be the same option to do the toilets behind here? Would you be asking for money for that too, or is that a different project?
So each and every one of the TIF projects, we just need to complete the planning assessment for to be absolutely clear whether it's a permitted activity or whether a resource consent is required.
Okay. George, you've got your hand up just before we go to Terry. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
You're on mute.
Sorry, guys. Through the speaker again, sorry, just to Councillor Walker's point around Moana Walkway. I just wanted to let you know that there is a report coming to the board in the November meeting, just around that. There was a carry forward submitted for that project, so there is budget sitting. I believe there is some work that needs to be done at the bottom. But there is some issues around that project in general, which will be presented in November, just around the feasibility of it. So we'll give you more of an update then, is I guess what I'm saying in a roundabout way.
Okay, yeah. We've got a question from Dean.
Sure.
Thank you, Georgia, for that update. Dean, my question's around the TIF funding. So just clarification, really. So normally a toilet block was normally 50% funded through the TIF funding by the government and council with a tight time frame around it. Because this is a dump station, a brand new operation, is this why they've got the full funding?
So it comes down to what we applied for as part of our overall package. So as part of our overall package, we applied for a number of conveniences and a number of things. Some of them we already had budgets set aside for in those annual plans. So we put that forward as our contribution. What they've done, Terry, and it will be clearly set out in a table that's in the draft report, is they've bundled it all together and treated it as one application. But internally, we still need to figure out where each and every one of the budgets come from. So there is a really nice, clear table that will come to you that has each project, what the TIF contribution is, what the council's contribution is, and like I said, some of that will be the consenting and the authorisations.
And can I just ask around the timing for this? This was hoping to be done before the summer arrives. Is it still on schedule?
Yeah, so the TIF program can be delivered in the next 18 months. And so Bruce's team is now working on which ones are ready to go and can be delivered without consents needing to be required, and then staging or phasing the ones that need to be consented and delivered over that next 18 months. So we're looking at having it all done within 18 months. I couldn't tell you at this stage which ones will happen first. That would be for Derek and Bruce to confirm, but unfortunately Derek has been away unexpectedly, and so we've not been able to get all that information to you today.
Dean, can I just point out the fact of the priority of the dump station because of the temporary repair that was done to the pump on Martin Road, and with the summer months coming and the amount of work that it's going to have, if that packs up, we really are in the gun. So I would ask that that be a prioritised matter, so that we can overcome that, because it's otherwise we're going to be throwing a lot of money away for a temporary repair that isn't going to be required after that.
Absolutely noted, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what we need. Any other comment in relation to the action schedule? The street lighting renewal, where it's got its closed on that one there, either Dean or Georgia, I thought that was ongoing in relation to that. It says that staff were to investigate the lighting issues, but apparently they still, although I haven't heard of any in the recent weeks, it's still a concern for lighting problems within town here. Why would it be closed?
I'll step in here. I can have a chat with our roading team just to see why that was closed. But from my understanding, with the issues that have been raised, it's sitting with Powerco more than it is with council, and it's more to do with the network itself and not anything that we can do. However, I do recall Bruce saying that he would investigate through Powerco what the issues are. So I'm happy to find out a little bit more about that and why that was closed and come back to you guys in the next meeting.
I'd appreciate that. Thank you, Georgia, for that. Any other comment on that? Can I have a movement seconded for the action schedule, please? I'll second it. All in favour, say aye.
Aye.
Carried, thank you. And the final one is the chairperson's report. I take it you've all read chairperson's report. Is there any comment in relation to that?
I just note your comment through the chair on the bridge, and Andrew coming to talk about Whangamatā's involvement. I think the project's going really well. I think it's been a really good synergy between the working groups up there, and the beams are up on the bridge now, and I think the two working groups are going to start soon. So it's fantastic to see it progressing. It sounds like it's ahead of schedule. So
I think so too, and I think it'd be nice for our congratulations to be passed on to the team for the work that they've done and how they it could well end up. I think that possibly we might get that open prior to the date, which if weather permits, and it would be terrific for our town if that happens. So yeah, if that can be passed on, it'd be appreciated. Right, any other comment on my report? Can I have a mover and seconder, please?
you've got to move it.
I'll move it.
I can take one.
Thank you. All in favour, say aye.
Aye.
Carried. Thank you. Close the meeting. So the meeting is closing at 10:29 AM. Thank you for attending. Thank you for those who are online as well.